Let's talk about one of the most common fears people experience in terms of calling others on Zoom. Now, a lot of people tell me that what they are truly afraid of is that after that initial silence, when they jump on a call, when they have to introduce themselves, they will freak out, right? Because it's that initial point when you are not warmed up, right? You're just not warmed up, you're not in your zone yet, you are not used to hearing your own voice, you're just sitting there in silence and you're waiting for that meeting to happen. And especially if it's an important meeting, you feel your heart beating faster. You may even hear it here. You may feel your blood pressure. You may feel sweat pouring down, right? Your hands may be going like this. You may be shaking a little bit. You feel uncomfortable. It's the fight or flight response. So suddenly when the call starts, let's say you have to start the call, or someone else starts the call and then they ask you, okay, so Jimmy, why don't you introduce yourself? Or Jimmy, why don't you say a few things about yourself so everyone knows who you are? That's the moment when stress really hits you. And some people are, literally borderline panicky. In fact, a lot of people experienced panic attacks in those situations. And it's terrible. And I don't want anybody to feel like this because look, I know how it feels to have a panic attack. I had panic attacks in the past. And it's this feeling, for those of you who haven't experienced it, is this feeling of just being trapped. It's like the time stops. You're trapped in your body and you feel like you want to be anywhere else, but you can't. You're just paralyzed. And every people experience it in a different way, but I know that a lot of people have this whenever they have to introduce themselves, especially during high pressure calls. So how do you handle that? How do you get more comfortable when you have to start the call, when you have to kickstart the process, say, welcome everybody, today on this call we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z, or someone asks you, introduce yourself. How do you do it? Well, you do it by preparing yourself, okay? You have to prep yourself. Now, what you want to do is, rather than jumping on a call blindly and just hoping for the best, you want to practice the exact introduction you're going to do, okay? So if you are the one starting the call, you want to ask yourself, okay, what is the best way to kickstart this call? How can I do it? Write down some notes of how you would want to do it in the ideal scenario, and then practice. But don't just practice sitting on a couch, chilling, drinking some tea. Practice in front of a camera. If you are doing your call on your laptop, practice in front of your laptop. Open Zoom, start the meeting with yourself. I'm telling you, start the meeting with yourself so you can see yourself on that screen. Press a record button because you want to put pressure on yourself, and then practice. Imagine that you are doing an actual call and tell people, hey, welcome everyone. My name is Jimmy Naraine. We are doing this call about X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. Practice it. If you practice it a lot of times, what's going to happen when you have that call with real people, when you have to make an introduction, it's going to feel comfortable because you are used to saying those words. You know exactly what you're gonna say. You practiced it, right? You feel comfortable saying all of those things. Not only that, you practiced with the Zoom app. So you are comfortable with seeing yourself on that screen. It doesn't freak you out anymore. And because you are recording all of your practice sessions, you had that extra pressure. So now as you are talking to real people, that pressure is not dwarfing you anymore. Now the same thing goes for introducing yourself. Now, introducing yourself can be one of the most debilitating feelings. And I know it because I experienced it myself. I used to be terribly afraid of those moments when people ask me, hey, Jimmy, so why don't you say a few things about yourself? Tell me about yourself, introduce yourself. And then there are 20 people in the room looking at you, waiting. And what happens in your brain is this. Well, rather than just saying what you want to say, you're thinking, well, there are many different things I could say about myself. I mean, I know myself pretty damn well. How do I pick what I say? Do I say something about my accomplishments? Well, but if I do that, I may seem too cocky. I may seem arrogant. Do I talk about my personal life? Well, if I do that, I may seem unprofessional. So what do? People just don't know what to do. And when you are in a situation like this and you don't know how to handle it, that awareness that you don't know what to do freaks you out even more. Someone asks you, hey, introduce yourself. Or someone says, we're going to do quick introductions, 20 or 30-second introductions. Your heart starts beating really fast because you know that you don't know what you have to say. You just have no idea what to say. And that's how people freak out. That's when people have panic attacks. But if you prepare yourself, if you know exactly how to introduce yourself in various situations, if you prepare the same way I explained just a few minutes ago, right? With Zoom, looking at the camera, recording it. If you practice like this, you will feel more comfortable introducing yourself. So what I want you to do is, I want you to take a piece of paper and draft different scenarios, draft different introductions, create a short introduction to yourself, create a longer one, and make a bunch of drafts and say those things out loud. See what feels the best, keep practicing, and eventually as you practice with yourself, you will nail it down and it's gonna become more and more and more compelling. And thanks to that practice, when you have a real life situation, when you jump on that Zoom call and someone asks you, by the way, why don't you introduce yourself? You have new team members who don't know you. So Jimmy, why don't you say a few things about yourself? Instead of being the deer in the headlights, well, because you practiced it so many times, you'll simply say, well, my name is Jimmy Naraine. Look, in a nutshell, I'm an author, an entrepreneur. I produce video courses for a fairly large audience. But look, bottom line is everything I do in my life comes down to my mission, which is help millions of people with their psychological issues. I feel really passionate about it because when I was younger, I experienced those issues myself. I know how debilitating it feels, and this is why everything I do nowadays is connected to that. And then naturally over the years, companies and entrepreneurs started asking me, hey, so how come you managed to build so many courses? How do you do that? How do you attract all of those people to buy your digital products? And well, this is why I started doing consulting for high-level companies and entrepreneurs. So look, this is me in a nutshell. On a more personal level, I'm an adventurer at heart. I just love to treat my life as one big adventure, and this is what propels me to travel the world and learn new things and embrace foreign languages and blah, 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 blah. You feel my drill, right? I could use this. I could do a short intro. Hey guys, my name is Jimmy Naraine. I'm an author, I'm an entrepreneur, and I build online video courses primarily about personal development. Great to be here. Looking forward to the call. Simple, right? So different introductions for different occasions. Of course, you have to calibrate, but if you don't practice those things, and by the way, every time I say this, it sounds slightly different, but I know my basic flow. I know the things I want to say. And that's why I can be so confident when I say those things, because I know, right? I know what I want to communicate. So you have to start with that. What do you want to communicate? What is the outcome? How do you want people to perceive you? What do you want them to know about you? So based on that, again, take a piece of paper after watching this video, or you can do it on your laptop, it's up to you, and draft some introductions. How would you want to introduce yourself? Ideally, create a really short one, something that you could literally say in 10 seconds, right? For example, if you're really stressed out, if you really feel panicky, maybe it's an important call and you feel like you are jittery and you feel like, oh my God, you just want to run away. If that's the feeling you have, well, then at least you have that short 10-second introduction prepared. You know you can say it very quickly, you can say it confidently, you know you feel comfortable doing it because it's short enough, great. But then prepare something slightly longer, and then prepare something even longer, and practice all of those, and then use them in various situations, okay? This is a game changer. I'm telling you, a lot of people, here's the thing, when people talk about confidence, a lot of people just focus on self-talk and affirmations and feeling positive. But look, all of those things are important. If you're watching those videos, I talk about those topics as well, but I feel like nothing beats practice, especially when it comes to social confidence, especially when it comes to confident communicating. If you want to become a better communicator, if you want to become a more comfortable and confident communicator, you just have to practice. Like there's no going around that, okay? So make sure you implement this advice. Don't just watch the next video, pause the course, do this exercise, start practicing, and I gotta tell you that when you have your next Zoom call, you will feel more comfortable.